Righto, here's the situation. It's the year 2024. Scott Morrison has pissed off one foreign superpower too many, and inevitably one of them decided to invade Australia. Their army swept through the ADF like a hot knife through butter, and the sleeping dragon swept through Australia like COVID does through Melbourne. You managed to escape just barely, getting into your souped up Holden and bloody evading the enemy. That was until you hit the gravel road and low profiles couldn't go any further. And you hoofed it by foot up into the high country, hiding out, killing and eating feral horses, and hunting the enemy with your trusty knife.
Rightio, the original plan for this bad venture was to do the Kosciuszko main range track, approximately 22 kilometers round trip, but as you will soon see, the weather conditions had other plans, and I didn't bring snowshoes, which didn't help either.
Fucking tough going. It's supposed to be a pretty broad, well-marked track, as you can see. It disappears in the snow. It makes my life a lot more difficult than I initially anticipated. moly. This is tough, man. For my 3 loyal fans, I'm doing this for you. What we have at the bottom there, I'll zoom in with the other camera, is Blue Lake. It's a glacial lake, one of 4 glacial lakes in Australia. Formed roughly 10,000 years ago, which is nothing in geological terms, but it's also when the Australian Ice Age ended. It formed by a glacier digging in a semicircular basin going down the slope. That lake is approximately 16 hectares surface area and roughly 28 meters deep, believe it or not. Also has the prestigious title of having Australia's freshest water due to the low salt content here. Yeah, it's a Ramsar website, so it means it's a wetland. Ramsar wetland, rather. So it means it's a wetland area of international importance. It supports a wide range of heaths and bogs and ferns. It also has a fish species that's only found here in the world, in this catchment area, believe it or not. It's critically endangered, the Galaxias supremus. What a name. I'd recommend bloody getting over here, because knowing the New South Wales government, they'll probably try and turn this into a huge sauna for the super rich. Yeah, how cool. I have made an executive decision, and that decision is to quit. Head back to the car and play it safe. There's just too much bloody snow on the track. Navigating is pretty difficult. 4Ks took me 3 hours. It's just not worth it. At this rate, I'll be pretty exposed tonight. Won't reach the area where I plan to set up shelter. Yeah, don't want to end up in a bloody newspaper. We'll be at the end of a search party, so I'm gonna play this one safe. It's been awesome nevertheless. It just means it's a bit of a shorter video, I suppose. I'll chuck in the knife review, babs. Every one-man army needs a knife. Motherfucker. The Fallkniven A1X. All 400 grams of it. It's a survival knife with laminated cobalt steel, Lamcos, Lamcos. I don't think it's the hardest of steels. It's 58 or 60 on the Rockwell hardness scale. What that means in practical terms is this is some kind of voodoo steel. It's really amazing. This knife came out of the box razor sharp. I've never had to sharpen it on a stone. I just keep the edge by stropping it. It keeps the edge for a very long time, and it's very easy to sharpen. It really is amazing. Look at the girth on that thing. It's as thick as a Nigerian crude oil pipeline. It's a lot of knife. Some people will say it's a bit overkill, but if you can only have one knife on a trip, I'll trust this bad boy. Fallkniven's bold claim to fame is that this knife is indestructible by any human force exerted on it. You're gonna have a tough time trying to break this knife by battening or anything like that. It really is an awesome knife. You'd think with that thickness it will be difficult to slice, but because the concave edge and the ridiculous sharpness, it's actually pretty slicey. I'll show you later on. It's just bloody awesome knife. Another pretty cool feature of this knife is the sheath. It's a Zytel sheath. It's made so that the knife will never fall out. It's a bit of an upgrade from the previous Fallkniven sheaths. You just pull on that cord like so, and out it goes. It's made so that the knife can be easily extracted even in sub-freezing conditions, so there's a bit of room for expansion and subtraction, which is probably a bit of the worst thing, I suppose, is that it makes a bit of noise, but overall not too bad. It's got a lot of points for webbing attachments, the sheath as well.
The awesome thing about the high country is there's always a plan B. Not even an hour's drive from the disaster hike, I can set up camp here next to a pristine-ish river.
It's funny all the shit we take for granted is bound to blow up in your face. I said it once before and I meant it. Me, myself and I went separate ways. Went separate ways. I didn't know just where to go, where to run and where to hide. It took some time to realize this life is mine, no compromise. It's funny how this shit we take for granted. I will let the sunshine on my face. I got my mind made up, and I ain't gon' stop. Gonna be on top. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up, and I ain't gon' stop. Gonna be on top. I got my mind made up. Ooh, 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 ooh. Honey on her lips is what I tasted, but how it turned to bittersweet. Yet I don't think those days are wasted. Just gotta get up on my feet, yeah. I got my mind made up, and I ain't gon' stop. Gonna be on top. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up, and I ain't gon' stop. Gonna be on top. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made. I got my mind made. I got my mind made up. mind made up. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up, and I ain't gonna stop. Gonna be on top. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up, and I ain't gonna stop. Gonna be on top. I got my mind made up.
Big square spine. It's pretty good for shooting sparks.
In my quest for vanity and to get more YouTube views, I've resorted to outright plagiarism. So I've taken a couple of steps from famous Australian influencers in the bushcraft space, and I'm just going to outright copy some of those ideas and see whether it can get me more than bloody 50 views, which are probably all from my sister's kids per video. As an influencer, I endorse this knife. If you don't buy this knife, your bloodline should end and you are worthless. Today I'm going to show you how to make gourmet corn, or as it's called in South Africa, kaboon mealies. You take corn and you put it on the fire. Thank you.